Now that we're getting into more advanced features, let's take a look at the custom environment settings. Before you go into environment settings, it's a good idea to tilt your view up so that you get a good view of the sky and the ground. This way you'll be able to see all the changes you make. Hit start and navigate to the track settings. Like before, choose environment, but this time, instead of choosing from the presets, we will scroll down and select custom settings. In here we have a number of submenus, so I'm going to try and get through them as quickly as possible. First is time of day. The options in this menu will adjust the look of your sky and environment lighting. Day/night determines if you have a sun or moon in the sky. Notice that when you switch this to night, any option that had the word sun in it changes that word to moon. For the rest of this tutorial, I will refer to it as the sun. Just remember that the sun and moon are interchangeable. Sun angle and longitude both adjust the position of your sun. Keep in mind with this that the visual sun in the sky also acts as the source of sunlight. Sun size changes the size of your sun, and intensity sets the brightness of the light coming from your sun. Sunlight color lets you choose what color your sunlight is, while sun color changes the color of the sun you see in the sky. Sky and ground ambient colors are similar to the ambient light in Trials HD. An easy way to think about it is that this is the light that illuminates areas that are not lit by the sunlight, like shadows or building interiors. You have two options so you can create more dynamic looks. To get a good feel for what these lights do, place some objects, then turn your sunlight intensity down to 0 and play around with the ambient light settings a little. Next we have another submenu, Sky Properties. In here we have some options to change the color of the sky. The first three options set the sky's colors. You can set 3 colors that will create a gradient or fade from horizon to zenith. The next 3 sliders adjust the appearance of that gradient. Our last time of day setting is star brightness. If you have a night track, you can choose to fill the sky with stars. Use this slider to determine how bright they are. Of course, like real stars, the lighter your sky color, the more difficult the stars will be to see. Now that we're done with sky properties, let's back out to the custom settings menu and choose weather conditions. In this menu, we have a bunch of options to manipulate the look of your fog and clouds. Fog color obviously sets the color of your fog. In Trials Evo, the color of your sunlight and the color of your fog will mix to create the actual color your fog will appear to be. You can lower the sunlight's influence or remove it altogether with the fog sunlight influence slider. Fog sky density determines the fog's influence over the sky. At 0, the sky will appear exactly as you set it in the sky properties, but start to turn it up and the fog will start to cover up your sky, and at 100 you will not see your sky at all. Fog density changes the thickness of the fog on the ground, which also changes how far you can see into the distance. In Trials Evo, the clouds move across the sky just as real clouds do. You can use wind direction and magnitude to determine what direction the clouds move and how fast. High and low cloud size basically adjust how your clouds look. Generally speaking, lower numbers will give you bigger clouds, but using the two together you can come up with a lot of different looks. Cloud alpha changes the transparency of your clouds, while cloud brightness determines how white or black the clouds appear. And finally, cloud shadow alpha basically determines how dark the cloud shadows will appear on the ground. Again, we will back out to the custom settings menu and choose our next submenu, water settings. For this, it will of course help if you can see some water. Color adjusts the color of the surface of the water. The next 3 settings affect the look of objects and terrain that are underwater. Substance color changes the overall tint of the water. Substance amount and fade are both used to adjust how deeply light can penetrate the water, or to put it more simply, how deep you can see. Set either to 0 and the water is totally clear, but start to slide them up and you will see how it starts to muddy up and you can no longer see the bottom. Reflection adjusts how reflective the surface of the water is, and wave height determines how high the waves are. The difference between 100 and 0 is a bit subtle. You can't use it to make big waves. This setting is most useful in cases when you have a very shallow pool. Higher waves will make the water look as though it is disappearing underground, so you can turn this down, making the surface of the water more flat. Once more, we will back out to the custom setting menu, but this time we only have 2 more sliders to check out. Max View Distance sets the maximum distance you can see in the game world. While fog will obscure things in the distance, lowering the max view will make it so that those things are basically not there. Similarly, max object view sets the distance at which objects in the world will render. As you turn this down, you can see objects in the distance start to disappear. Both of these last two options can be very helpful if your map is having performance issues. Keep in mind, however, that the lower the max distance or object view, the more likely you are to see objects or terrain pop up as you move throughout the trek.